We've got big news tonight in a crossover episode. Oklahoma State, $10 million for your basketball program would change everything. West Virginia with two commitments. One that could be the next Owen Schmidt, and an awesome linebacker commitment that has an amazing backstory you won't want to miss. Stick around, guys.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host here. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia and Locked On Oklahoma State crossover, baby. Sorry, guys. I know some of the West Virginia fans hasn't liked this in the past, but it's the only thing I have time for today, and I got a lot of news to get to. So we're going to bounce between topics if you don't mind. So thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and Locked On Oklahoma State your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Pokes and the Mountaineers, every single day. Going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, guys, if you don't care for us, the national championship is here, and FanDuel is the best place to get in the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boost every game day. Thanks for making us your first listen, guys. We're going to jump straight into this as we have a lot to talk about, obviously, between West Virginia and Oklahoma State. There is a big-time commitment for West Virginia. They're two separate guys have joined the program, adding to a transfer portal class in the 30s now. Obviously, we have, $10 million I'm hearing, and I'll explain that for the Oklahoma State basketball program. So let's dive straight into this as we jump in, starting with the linebacker commitment. I decided based on the story that Jason Hall is going to be where we start out here, because I found out right before I came on here just a little bit more about this linebacker commitment for West Virginia. 6'2", 235 pounds. He's got 2 years remaining, 40 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and came off an elite Villanova team that had a deep playoff run that was really good. He had 115 snaps on the edge as an edge rusher, but he also plays in the box as an inside-the-box guy, which is where he was also at in high school based on my tape study. He also played in the slot in some coverage situations, so this is a guy that can be used all over the defense, and that pushes up the grade, right? Because you look at him and you're like, okay, this is a versatile guy. Pass rushing grade was a 78. He had 12 quarterback hurries and 12 stops per the analytic grading that I've looked at, and he consistently impacts pass rush and run defense. So the traits here are he has a high motor, he stays active on every single play, he's got really good instincts and play recognition, he rushes the passer with urgency when blitzing, and he tackles well in space and in traffic, and he was really too good for those guys at the FCS level. He looked like just a different kind of cat, bigger body, you could tell, right? Sometimes the guys are just, they develop. His high school film to his film at Villanova, it's like watching two separate players. This guy developed like crazy. Like I don't know him well. I've only spoken to him for a little bit, but I would imagine he would probably admit maybe he wasn't ready coming out of high school, because his high school film and his college film was like, whoa, he really developed. So I think that's a good thing, right? He went just like Xavier Bosley, right? Went to Jacksonville State, got better, and is able to move up. So I think this is one of those situations. Here's why I wanted to talk about him really quick. Beyond the stat sheet, his journey includes a personal story of football helping reunite his family during a really challenging time. And, I just wanted to talk about that because this is a kid that went through foster care and needed, basically this situation happening for him is also healing his family. I don't pretend to know all the details. But, I think this is a situation where, obviously the football is really playing a big part in the healing of this family, hopefully. And, I think that's a big deal. I think that the human part of this is something that we can get lost in, or that can get lost in this with all the money involved and everything. And there was a quote that I really liked in the video that I saw about this, where he said, he was laying in that foster bed and how bad things were. And so, just things like that, man, to me mean a lot. And I just wanted to tell Jason, congratulations, you made it. We're trying to get him an interview. I have to talk to his agent first, but we're going to try to do that and try to represent that story on here, because things like that matter to me. I don't care about star rankings. I don't care about how popular somebody is. I want to talk about human stories, and I think this is one. So we're going to try to get that on here for you guys here in the next couple of days. All right, so let's move on to Caden Luke really quick, and then we'll get to the Oklahoma State stuff. So obviously, this is the guy I have on the thumbnail, and what I thought was the bigger story coming into this. And it's not because they're both big stories. I really love both these stories. This is a fullback, 5'11", 249 pounds. He's got 2 years left. He was listed as a tight end at Arizona. Guys, his film is incredible. He really, I think, can be used well in this offense. And I think at the end of the day, is a guy that when you look at him as a run blocker, really good. He reminds us of that Owen Schmidt type guy. Really good run blocking grade. Overall grade, really good. And he's a guy that can be really good in short yardage as well. His high school resume is insanity. 3,609 yards, 52 touchdowns. So he really had an incredible high school career. He's a violent, low pad lead blocker that has really excellent leverage and balance through the contact when he comes up through the hole. He's got a wrestling background, which you see, and it shows up in the hand fighting when he's in, pass blocking or run blocking. He's a willing downhill kind of guy. A short yardage and goal line is going to be big with him. And he's got functional athleticism, man. He's not a bad athlete at all. So, I think he's got very limited college rushing resume, but man, and he's got minimal receiving usage, but he's got some reps at fullback. And I think that's where he's going to fit, probably on the edge, maybe, and, whether they go 11 or 12 personnel or go under center or whatever they do, I think he immediately fits in, and you can put him on the end as a tight end and block. There's a lot you can do with him. Let's get to the tape really quick on him, and then we're going to move on to the Oklahoma State stuff. This is his tape at Arizona, and you'll see him. And by the way, he's not running the ball in any of these plays. These are all blocking plays. You'll see him coming over from the left side here, and the running back will follow him through. Bang! How about that? Nice hit. Right in the hole. And here he is on the right there. You see him come around on a counter type play. Boom, just absolutely opening a hole. Similar here. Now he is running the ball on this play, and a great cut behind the zone play. Great job there. Here he is blocking in a running situation with the quarterback run. So, this is a guy you can bring in. It's multiple scenarios. You can bring him in on third down. You can bring him in on, first through third down, really, but on third down passing type situations, you need a guy that can stick his nose in there and be a good pass protector. This is a guy that can do that. You want a guy that can really lead block for you and get his nose in there and make an impact. This is a guy that can do that. And Rich Rod knows how to use guys like this. The last time West Virginia was really elite in football, this is the kind of guy we had. Is Caden Luke a guy that can come in and change the game for West Virginia's running game this coming year? I think it'll be an interesting thing to look at. So welcome, Caden, and thank you so much for joining the program, man. Definitely a welcome sight. And look, anytime you can add a Power 4 Big 12 player, you're going to get better that day. And this is a guy, you can see over and over here, the pads were popping in Arizona. On the receiving side, you'll see, I'll let you see a couple plays, and then we'll go to break and do the Oklahoma State stuff. Here he is right down here. You'll see him coming out on just a little angle route. Well, no, actually just a little stop route. But, coming across on the drag here and things like that. So, he did practice those things while at Arizona. And, worst case scenario, you've got a guy that at least has practiced at being a third down type back. So, two major additions for West Virginia in different ways. One is going to provide at least rotational depth on the defensive line. One is going to be a guy that you could possibly see in the backfield, lead blocking for West Virginia backs this year. And I find that to be pretty dang cool. So, obviously, for me, I'm excited about both pickups. We'll see how impactful they are. Obviously, you never know. But overall, I think West Virginia got better today with two more commitments. There are more guys on campus. I think there was at least 2 or 3 on campus as of today that I was told. So there's still more people being vetted in the safety and maybe another corner. I think a wide receiver, maybe. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at my notes. It may not be a receiver, but either way, guys, West Virginia still holding. We might get up to 35. We'll see. Hopefully not, but could get there. All right, let's go to break. Oklahoma State basketball. During my conversations, and I want to thank Cody Stovall because obviously he's hooked me up here on some things and, got me connected with some people to be able to have these conversations. $10 million potentially for Oklahoma State basketball obviously would be a game changer, but what does that look like and what would it entail? Let's talk about it next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia and Locked On Oklahoma State is going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. And right now with FanDuel, guys, we're talking about the college football playoff is here, and FanDuel is giving all new customers even more ways to get in on the action every single game day of the playoffs. Because right now, college football playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. Right now, it's a pretty big deal, and here's what I love about it. You get to use the profit boost on the bets you feel good about, right? You can ride with the favorite when you think a team controls the matchup. You can take a shot on the underdog if you feel an upset coming, or you can build a parlay around the players and moments you think decide the game. Then you reapply the profit boost and go after even bigger winnings. When you win, FanDuel pays it out instantly, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get in the action all playoff long, so head to FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts every game day. It's segment 2. Let's crack open this y'all. And do I have one? Yeah, I have one. I wasn't sure. Sometimes you don't know because I'm a bachelor. I'll have a bottle from yesterday sitting here. Oh God, yeah, that's yesterday's. Oh, that was terrible. Good Lord. Where did I put the one from today at? Anyways, so I want to start here for Oklahoma State basketball. You've already got 3 elite commits and Latrell Almond, Jalen Montanati, and Parker Robinson coming in, right? Latrell Almond is a 6'8" power forward, 95 high-end 4-star plus, ESPN top 40 guy coming in. Jalen Montanati is a shooting forward, a 6'7", 91 rated, ESPN top 44 kid. And Parker Robinson is a 90 rated, which there some say 3, some say 4-star, 6'4" shooting guard. Extraordinarily high quality class right there with West Virginia. As a matter of fact, these are very close classes. West Virginia's got a 5-star and a 4-star coming in. So you're talking about blue chip caliber recruits and top 40 tier in Montanati. So, obviously these are monster pickups for for Oklahoma State. And to pretend like, these dudes aren't going to be monstrous for you guys is an understatement. And now you're telling me that Oklahoma State is potentially going to be getting $10 million in donors for basketball. Now, I want to say this. Here's what I'm being told. Obviously I'm reading right now as we're talking to make sure I get this right. So looks like it's part of the 10 to 12 is for JC Hoyt's Cowgirls too, but it's probably safe to assume like 80 to 85% of this will go to men's. So I do want to make that caveat. And so if it's 12, maybe you get 10, right? Maybe if it's 10, maybe you get 8. But that's a very solid number, potentially elite number. Depending on what other people do. Now, are you going to be able to beat some teams? No. But I think here's what when I look at it, this is what I feel this would do for you guys, because this is about a structural advantage. Steve Lutz isn't just getting cash, he's getting options. He's getting leverage. You're getting margin for error with this. In a men's power conference basketball, most programs operate between 2, 5, 6 million right now. Only a small handful are believed to be in the $8 to $12 million range. So if Oklahoma State's truly at the $10 million level, that's not competitive. That's top tier. So obviously, this isn't OSU trying to keep up. This is OSU choosing to play a different game. And I think this is where we have to try to educate fans on what $10 million does not mean, right? $10 million does not mean you're going to pay one guy $8 million. It doesn't mean you're going to buy wins overnight. And it doesn't mean you're going to ignore development either. But what it does mean is you can retain your best players instead of re-recruiting them every offseason. You can win a couple portal battles before they maybe get public with your own players, and you don't lose plan A and panic, because Steve Lutz gets that stability, and stability wins in modern college basketball. Just here to say. So with $10 million at Oklahoma State, they can realistically get 2 to 3 high-end difference makers and probably 3 to 4 strong NIL-supported starters. And then you're going to add into that probably a bench that doesn't immediately hit the portal. So you're talking about being able to build it, right? Most programs can only do one of those things. Few can do two, and almost none can do all three. So you would be in the category that could potentially do that. And here's the part that maybe the quiet part fans don't get to hear too, because the best portal players, they don't even hit your Twitter radar. Mostly they get contacted, evaluated, and secured immediately, right? That's why you see it all the time. Do not contact tags. A guy like Sam Levitt, he wasn't on Twitter, like shopping himself around. He was, boom, he was had his business set up, Indiana, LSU, Oregon, and those are the main ones you're going to go to, right? So Miami, that's how that works for those kind of guys. So money shortens timelines, and that means that you're going to have more time as well at Oklahoma State. That means Oklahoma State doesn't wait. You don't get outbid late, and you don't finish second nearly as often. It's a big deal. This means Oklahoma State can be decisive. Means you can probably build programs, right? So I think Steve Lutz is the right coach for this moment too, because, Lutz has been able to do for them this year based on what I've been able to look, and I've been following you guys for a couple of weeks to try to get better at the team. Roster discipline, role definitions, and buy-in over ego. Those are big deals to him. And I think that money is obviously sometimes counterproductive to what he believes in, but it's also a necessary evil. And it matters though, right? Because real money is real money, and 10 million in the wrong hands could blow up a program. In the right hands, it scales it out. So what is Steve Lutz? Is he a guy that you blow up a program with, or is he a guy that scales it? I think he's a guy that scales it so far. He's proven to be that, and on a second year roster or is it first year for him? It's his first year, isn't it? So is it his first year or second year? Sorry, guys. Pretty sure it's his first year. Steve Lutz, hiring date. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure I'm correct on everything. Okay, so it is his first year. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I'm still learning things. Back to the point I was going to make then. So you're talking about what he's doing in his first year. It's pretty dang good, right? I mean, you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, are you beating the top teams in the country right now? Maybe not, but you're certainly a bit further along than I think most people considered. I think West Virginia's in a good place too. We're just not beating the top teams, but do I feel like both teams are tournament teams? I do. I feel like Oklahoma State's a tournament team. I feel like West Virginia is too. The only teams you guys have lost to were the top teams, right? So I get it, So West Virginia's kind of been a similar boat with that. We're not losing as many teams we shouldn't lose to outside of maybe Ohio State and, well, we lost a couple games that we shouldn't have lost, but that's a whole other story we can get into another time. So obviously, we went through the roster a bit, discipline, the clear role definitions, the buying over the ego, and how that could blow up a program if it's in the wrong hands. We think it's in the right hands. So the last part of this is the ripple effect, because I think, how do I want to put this? Well, this isn't just about Oklahoma State, right? This is the Big 12. It's already the deepest league in college basketball. And now you add an Oklahoma State in there with Texas Tech, with BYU. I mean, it starts to get ridiculous, an embarrassment of riches in a league where there's already an embarrassment of riches just based on the tradition alone. Kansas, it's hard to believe I didn't say Kansas first, isn't it? That's just the sign of the times. So if you get Oklahoma State with top tier NIL, now you're talking about league-wide, escalation here, and I think it's a big deal. That means other programs are going to have to spend more, recruit smarter, or fall behind, and that includes West Virginia. If the $10 million number is real, Oklahoma State basketball just stopped asking for respect, and they started demanding it, right? Because that's what people that are in the situation that Indiana's in right now, that Oregon's in right now, that Miami's in right now are doing. They're going out and doing it. They're not asking for it. They're just doing it. So I think this is a big deal for you guys, and congratulations for you. If it happens, we'll just have to see. Obviously, I'm coming to you guys and letting you know what other people are saying, donors. So can I say that I've heard it directly from the horse's mouth? No, but I will say that one of these donors has donated close to $1 million in one shot. So that I spoke with. So I mean, look, consider that if you will. Probably he gonna know, right? That's the way I looked at it. So we'll see, guys. I think that's something that makes sense given the football part of this, that is obviously scaled up. You've got one guy paying for Mestmaker's contract. And so I really do think, big deal for you guys. So good job on you. We've got one more topic to get to here. A big visitor on campus for Oklahoma State. The nation's leading tackler in Stillwater. That's true. We'll be right back. We'll talk about it. And of course, talking about our friends from Wayfair right now. And with Wayfair, look, it's simple, right? The new year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and how it feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need from a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for you and your style and budget. I love how I can find pieces that match my style without spending a fortune at Wayfair. And shopping is easy, delivery is smooth, and everything's exactly as expected when it arrives. It's honestly made getting back in the routine this year a lot more manageable. If you too want to get organized, refreshed, and back on track this new year for way less, head to wayfair.com. That way you can shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com with Wayfair. Every style, every home. All right, here in segment 3, guys. Big visitor on campus for Oklahoma State, and I was able to confirm with, let me make sure I got the name correct here. Let's see. What's his name? All right. Tristan Kuhn let me know today at 3:28, Dylan Rousey is visiting Oklahoma State. So Dylan Rousey, when I went to go looking it up, it said he was at Louisville, and I'm like, what? What's going on here? So he apparently is a Murray State player that led the nation in tackles last year, and I'll give you the numbers on that in just a second. A 6'1", 195-pound safety, box hybrid kind of kid out of Rienzi, Mississippi. And he came up from Itawamba, JUCO. He went to the Murray State Racers. And then Louisville came after him, and Louisville is one of the they're like you guys. They spent huge in the portal this offseason. They're a top 5 or 8 portal class, so they won't go about after anybody that's not pretty good. So I went to go look at him, and dang sure, this is a dude that just had an absurd year: 139 tackles, most in all Division I football, 89 solo tackles. I mean, that's ridiculous. 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack, 2 interceptions, a pass breakup, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. I almost can't say it all. So, this is a kid that's an FCS All-American, honorable mention. And this is not just productive. This is gravitational, right? This kid's just where the ball is. And I went and looked at his tape, and it's very, very good. I should have added it in. Maybe I will if he commits. If he commits, I'll add it in. He obviously elite tackle volume, right? He's got rare instincts and motor too. If you look at him on film, his instincts are really good. And he's consistently the first man to the football, obviously. He's got a really violent downhill trigger. And if you don't know what I mean by trigger, is when a guy explodes into somebody. That's what I consider to be a trigger. Or if a pass rusher is on the line and they explode off the ball, that can be a trigger, like how they trigger off the ball or how they trigger into somebody. They may not be the most technical terms. I'm not exactly sure, but that's just how I word it. So he attacks the gaps like a kind of like a will linebacker. He's a really sure tackler. And his solo tackle numbers they're not really inflated by the scheme. Like you'll see him, he's coming across the field to make tackles on plays that he shouldn't even be involved in. And so he wraps, he drives, he finishes, and you can tell the football IQ was there. He diagnoses RPOs well. And he's really rarely ever caught flat-footed. He's always in an athletic stance on the balls of his feet. And so that turnover production is a pretty good sign of his IQ as well. With the forced fumbles showing, he's got that aggression and timing down, that peanut punch style ball. And, I think he's positionally pretty flexible. We'll see what they want to do with him in Stillwater if he commits. He could be a box safety, potentially a nickel hybrid, or a big nickel versus 12 personnel even, where he's playing more of a linebacker role. Because he is 6'1", 200 pounds. So he is a guy. I mean, I know I bring him up all the time, but Rodriguez from Texas Tech isn't much bigger than that. So, can this guy be a guy that you say, you know what, we're just going to play you at linebacker even and just add 15 pounds to you and let you be an athletic guy running about there back there with Wislowski and company and Chisholm from UCLA? I don't know. But I do think that overall, like I said, monster pickup for the Pokes here if you get him. So we'll see what happens. Absolutely. Back to West Virginia really quick, though. Obviously, going back to the commitments for West Virginia, if you weren't here for them, we'll talk about them again. Actually, I just got a message from Ezekiel Durham Campbell as well. Thank you so much, dude. So he's going to send me some tape. That should be good. That should be sweet. But talking about the 2 players West Virginia got today, if you weren't here for the first segment, I did them first because I'm locked on West Virginia guys. So I feel like I should at least do theirs first, so you guys could be there for it. Then you didn't have to wait because I got to be loyal to you guys first. You know what I mean? So, but we will go back and talk about them just a little bit more. So West Virginia got 2 commitments today, and I really liked them both. It's going to be interesting to see how they use both of these guys, especially the fullback in Caden Luke. I think he's obviously a pretty talented guy when you look at him on film as a blocker. I like him a lot. I also like the Jason Hall thing. I went and watched his tape. I told you guys this. He's got a little bit of tape out there. It's not much. Trying to get more. unless you watch full Villanova footage, it's going to be tough to get. But, Jason Hall is a very talented guy. He's got 2 years left, too. 40 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. But he's a guy that plays a little bit of everywhere. I'll be curious to see if West Virginia tries to put him at maybe edge. Because I don't know if at 6'2", 230, I don't see him staying with his hand in the dirt like he was at Villanova. Caden Luke, we've got his highlights here for some of you guys if you want to see them. They are impressive for the most part. We'll watch some of them one more time. As you'll see, he'll cross your face here and come over and make a big block. Boom! We'll see this again. Like you'll see, he comes across your screen this way and then up into the hole. Watch the big hit he puts on. I think it's like 57 or somebody. Who is this against, by the way? Is it? Yeah, that's K-State. Yeah, so you see 57, the linebacker, when the play starts. He scrapes over perfectly into the hole and just gets met by Luke here, man. Just an awesome play, and he's 260. So, I mean, he's got some weight behind him. Great fit by the linebacker, but Luke was there to knock his head off, man. And there he did the same thing again for most killed number 75's leg there. And I like that little, he's got some running ability too. So I'd like to see him in short yardage to see. I mean, you can see he's a great blocker. I'd like to see how he is in short yardage because we really do need. Maybe Amari Latimer ends up becoming it, which wouldn't surprise me if he did. But we do need a short yardage back. Somebody that can really pick up the short yardage. I'll be interested to see what he does, man. But 2 pickups for the Mountaineers that you got to love. My cat's going crazy here. But yeah, so obviously a lot to get into with that. We'll continue to monitor the portal. I know both teams are still having visitors even today. So there still could be more coming. We'll keep track and do another video if that time comes. But until then, guys, thanks for liking the video, please. If you don't mind to like the video, subscribe if you're new around here. And we will talk to you on the next one here on Locked On West Virginia, where we cover your team, the Mountaineers and the Pokes, every single day. Make sure you're checking us out every single day here, guys. We're trying to do everyday content for both teams. We miss one day renowned again for Oklahoma State, but we try to do at least 5 or 6 days a week. So, all right, y'all, I will see you on the next one. And until then, Q Country Roads.